Welcome to video 13 for chapter 7-8 in anatomy physiology. So in this video, we're going to take a look at two special cervical vertebrae, the atlas and the axis. The atlas is the name given to C1. According to Greek mythology, Atlas was the person who held the world on his shoulders. Well, the atlas holds our head on top of our neck. So it's holding our world on top of our shoulders, if you want to make that parallel. And so this has no body. So it is a little bit different than the rest of the cervical vertebrae, no body. And it is what articulates with the occipital condyles on the occipital bone. So we talked about those. So the articulation, it's a facet, or it's going to be just a articular process that articulates with the occipital condyles. And this allows us to hold up our head, so it holds up our head, allows tilting of the head, and gives us our yes motion. So it allows us to flex and extend our head back and forth. So the axis is C2, and it too has a different shape. This allows us, or this has no spinous process. And it allows rotation of the head. And that is due to the dens, which is a projection on there that we'll look at here in the diagram in a second. And this is the no motion of our head. So our up and down motion is allowed by the axis. So this is a simplified diagram here of the different motions. So the atlas is labeled K. It allows rotation. Or it's the part that rotates, where the axis has the stick part or the axis part, and that gives us our no motion. So with that, here is a diagram of how the atlas and the axis are going to be positioned against one another. Here is the dens. So it comes up and it articulates in the back of this, of the atlas. So you can see that we don't have a big spinous process here. And I did write that in the wrong spot. I am sorry about that. So the atlas has no spinous process. My mistake. Sorry about that. And you can see the different motions here. The other thing that I added here was a diagram of the vertebral artery. So we can see that we do have those transverse foramen in both the atlas and the axis. And here is how they line up and how that vertebral artery goes up through those foramen. So this is on either side. And they help supply oxygenated blood to the spinal cord, which requires a lot of it. And how up here it comes out of C1 right by the mastoid process. So this is a site. Whenever you see in movies where somebody takes their elbow around somebody's neck, and actually it's a very violent thing on some movies where they break their neck. It's really not breaking their neck. What they're doing is severing these arteries. So quick jerky motions can cause these arteries to be injured or to cut, and it can be a fatal injury.